Welcome to The Last Word. I'm David Jenkins, and he's Chris Pobst. And Chris, I think I owe our viewers an apology.
You do. Many apologies.
Many apologies, but last week I said there's no way Malden's going to score 70 points against Dexter. And in a way, that's true.
They didn't score 70.
I think they just scored again, but when you get 80, that's... Yeah, 80. Nice. That's my alma mater there.
131 points in a single high school football game.
It's safe to say that defense is no longer a priority among high school football.
It seems to have diminished, especially the last few weeks. I don't know what is going on, but
back when I was in school, if your football team gave up 80 points, your coaches got a pink slip in the paper on Monday morning. I mean, that's just. But now, with the offenses and everything, and I understand it's a different game. Mm-hmm. But, the defenses are terrible. I mean, I did watch some of the Dexter game on film, and a lot of arm tackling, a lot of just being in the wrong spots, just terrible, terrible defense. But it was both ways.
You see that a lot, though, and it wasn't just that game.
Right. It's,
I saw one that was 57-51, so it wasn't that much better.
Right. I think just the state of the game in general. I think everybody's worried about how many points can we score. We're not worried about, hey, can we stop, let's stop somebody.
Yeah.
And with the fast-paced offenses and stuff, that just makes the scores higher. But
it does. But you don't see a defender just kind of plant his feet and go for something. You're reaching for a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
That fundamental, I think, is just being missed a lot in the takes. And I'm not saying that they're bad coaches, but I'm just saying it's not being received well maybe by the kids.
I think it's not just the coaching. I think part of it is the limitations on practices now. You can only have so many full practices and stuff. And you got to teach them. You got to learn a lot of other stuff in those days as well. So teaching them to tackle and stuff like that, that's just not a priority anymore. And that's why I think you get a lot of guys hurt because they don't know how to tackle. And at the same time you get a lot of points. And I'm not for all these 7-6 games. That's fine. That's the way it was a lot back whenever I was in school. But now I'm not for 80-51 at all. I think that's terrible on both sides of the ball. And Malden's a good football team. They gave up 51 points.
Yeah, I agree. Defense is to be desired around here, especially. But anyway, speaking of to be desired, I wish we've got district playoffs coming. It's a do or die now. You win, you go home, or win or go home. So there you go. We got a lot of good matchups, I think, for the Class 1 and all the class, whatever. It's a lot of awful matchups, to be honest with you. It's district. It's first round district.
It's first round of district, so you're not going to get a lot of close games.
I tried to sell it the best I could.
I know, but you can't lie to them. You can't lie to the people.
We can't lie to people.
But it's kind of amazing. I mean, it seems like we just started the season, and now we're already you lose, you go home. So a lot of seasons are going to come to an end Friday nights. I think it's like I said, it's flown by. Not many good matchups though as far as the first week. A 4-5 matchup that I'm interested in is East Prairie Portageville.
It's another little rematch that could get interesting.
They played a couple weeks ago, and that's another thing I'm noticing in all these matchups. There's a lot of rematches that happened just a few weeks ago. So you may get some upsets just because they just played them. They know how the other team, they know how to beat the other team.
Dexter at Park Hill Central, it was a little closer than what the score indicated. Park Hills, I believe, won by 2 possessions, and you got East Prairie, who's kind of looking to make that more of a game because they didn't really show up a lot. They just got Brett Ellis back. That was his first game back after his injury. They just looked at a sink, couldn't get really anything going offensively. And Porterville just kind of threw the ball around on them. So, those are some 2 games that could possibly go the other way this time around. But that home field advantage is key in all of these matchups, and that's why all these teams want that top 4 ranking to keep that home field advantage.
The Dexter was surprising me that they slipped all the way down to 7. That's a pretty decent 7 seed in that district, and having to play Park Hills. That's kind of not what they wanted, but I almost think that may be better for them than having to play Kennett.
They missed that Kennett game, yes.
And the only time you're going to see Kennett is in a semifinal if Kennett wins. So Dexter could pull the upset. I don't think they will, but they could possibly, because like you said, they were in it to the last minute. They were driving to tie the game, and before an interception kind of cost them.
This is a very winnable game for them. It really is. I know you just look at the seeds and you see 2 versus 7. Well, that doesn't really bode well for the 7 seed a lot of times, but Dexter's a good 7 seed, like you said. This is a very winnable game. Just take away that late mistake by Ethan Stevens there towards the end zone when they're trying to drive in to take the lead, and this is the way Ethan Stevens was playing, they win that game. That's kind of one of those things. But I kind of have the edge to Park Hills just because they're at home. They've beat them before. I mean, that's a huge thing. But Dexter, I think they can't give up 80. Yeah. They cannot give up 80.
You look at Park Hills. Park Hills started the year out on fire. They won their first 4 games, averaged about 50 points a game. Since then, they've lost 2 of 5. They lost 2 games. They've only scored over, I think, 30 points twice, and once was against Dexter.
Yeah.
So, you've got, Park Hills is not playing their best right now. I don't know if they've had injuries or what's happening with them.
Harlow was kind of on the mend, I believe. They were sick or something. He still was part of the game plan. Jake Bridges, he's kind of a mirror image of Ethan Stevens. Not maybe as athletic as Stevens, but can do a lot of the same things.
Yeah, he throws the ball a little bit better, I think. If I remember him from a couple years ago. And, last week, Bridges only threw 11 passes and they lost to Farmington. So, maybe they were kind of holding something back, but not thinking. I don't think anybody thought Dexter was going to be playing Park Hills. Everybody I heard had Dexter as a 6 seed as low as they would go. So I think Park Hills may have been looking at someone else too. But I think that's going to be a barn burner of a game. A lot of, like I said, I could see Dexter winning the game, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, just obviously the main thing that they have to do is just get stops. I mean that's been their Achilles heel pretty much all season long, is just getting stops. And Ethan Stevens and company can put points on the board. If you trust him to get, he can provide some offense. So let me say, if you haven't seen Ethan Stevens, he's a quarterback to go watch. But defense has to step up. I do see Park Hills slipping away with this one and in the Dexter season, but
Ethan Stevens has to stay healthy too. He missed a couple series in that Malden game when he got knocked a little woozy and.
Well, he carries the ball a lot, and he plays defense too. I mean, he's on the field a lot, and that's what you kind of have to ask for him. I mean, you hate to put that on one player, but he's got to be on in this game, and defense has got to get off the field in third down situations. That was something they struggled with.
And in order to do that, you can't use your arms to tackle. So, I think Park Hills wins that game.
It all comes full circle.
It does. In the bigger schools, there's some intriguing matchups as well. You've got Jackson with a rematch against Vianney, from earlier in the year. Jackson, they've improved a lot as the years go on. They've finally found out, their quarterback. They've kind of figured that out and got people kind of healthy. Vianney's still going to be tough. They've got the little sophomore quarterback who's just a handful, kind of like a lot of the quarterbacks around here. He can run, he can throw, but he's going to run first.
Yeah.
He's quick and he's tough to handle. And Jackson has had trouble handling him the last 2 times they played him.
They have. Jackson has improved. They kind of opened everybody's eyes a little bit with the Poplar Bluff game, and then and shutting out Sykeston. They've kind of come back down to earth a little bit after that, I think. But going like it's just kind of the same situation with East Prairie going on the road and Dexter going on the road. Jackson again has got to go on the road and try to beat a team that's already beat them this year. I see it maybe being a little closer this time, but I'm still giving the edge to Vianney.
Yeah, I think Vianney wins it too, but I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be a lot like last year's district game when it just went down. I think it was a district championship game last year when the huge comeback and Jackson ended up winning that game.
You think it's going to be like that?
I think it's going to be close.
Oh, so you think you're predicting another nail-biting finish like that?
I'm predicting a nail-biting finish. I'm not predicting a 30-point comeback.
Okay.
I am predicting it to go down. Last team has the ball, win type situation. I really am. I think it's going to, both offenses are going to have some big numbers.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Class 4 District 1. That's kind of the way that Sykeston finished the year. Them being the 2 seed, you wouldn't think that. It's just district standings are a little confusing. But anyway, Sykeston, they're coming off of a kind of a bad loss to Cardinal Ritter. Cardinal Ritter's a very good team. Not a very good showing from them, but they're still the number 2 seed, getting DeSoto in the first round. Hillsboro, the top seed, and Cape Central, the 3rd seed. Sykeston on that head-to-head, so they got the 2nd seed. I see, though, top seeds winning in every single one of those matchups in my mind.
Yeah, I do too. I think, I think Farmington is a team that's kind of dangerous in that district.
I really do.
They just beat Park Hill Central. They've really been playing better lately. I think, just watching them play against Sykeston earlier in the year, I could see where they could be dangerous. Hillsboro, they got hammered by Poplar Bluff a few weeks ago. That kind of opened my eyes that maybe they're not as good as what I thought.
Yeah.
I think Farmington could possibly sneak in there in that district championship game. I'm still going to lean toward Hillsboro right now until I see more, but Farmington's a team that could be dangerous, especially in that upper part of the bracket. And of course, Cape Central, being a 3 seed, I think we're all agreed they're probably the best team in that district.
Last week or a week before, whatever, I kind of mentioned like they're a team that's on the rise. They're a team that I think is the favorite in this district, no matter their seeding. They got the best player on the field.
Al Young, he got the ball last week. He got the ball a lot.
He did. They got Quay Chisholm, who's coming to his own. They got a lot of guys. Aaron Harris. They got a lot of weapons. They're finally starting to put together, and it's exactly the time you want to start doing it. Cape Central, and they are the favorite in this district, in my opinion. Obviously, there's Hillsborough and Sykeston already owns that win over them. And I think Sykeston, they having that win, it's more of a confidence thing, knowing that they can play with them on the field.
Right,
I think.
Right. They know that they can. They know they can beat them. So if they do have to play them again, it's not. They know how to beat them.
Yeah.
They schemed them up very well the first time. They know how to beat them. So I think there is some confidence factor there. But I think Sykeston's kind of got their hands full with DeSoto. The way they're playing, they're not playing well. And I think DeSoto, they don't know much about them.
Yeah.
They kind of like to run the ball a little bit, but they're a very good defensive team. It could be a low-scoring game. So I think that game, I think Sykeston wins it, but I don't know if they blow them out and maybe get the rest of their starters like I think they would like.
Yeah, I think this might go be a four-quarter game. I do. DeSoto is not, like you said, I don't think they're the prototypical 7 seed or what have you. I think it could be a kind of a closer game. I still think Sykeston wins comfortably. DeSoto, if I read their preview right, they have a couple guys, their quarterback that kind of runs through him. He can run and kind of runs it a little bit, gets on the feet, but they depend on the run a lot. I think Sykeston that's the kind of team that they defend well against, though, that doesn't have the passing attack. And Sykeston's defense is going to hold strong, and I think they're going to pull out a comfortable win at Sykeston High School Stadium.
Public school stadium.
The worst high school football name ever. Just worst stadium ever.
Let's get to our picks. Let's ignore that, and we'll get to our picks here. Class 1, District 1.
You can't deny it.
Crystal, I'm not going to disagree with you. Class 1, District 1, Crystal City at St. Vincent. These two teams met earlier in the year. St. Vincent won by 1 point. Who you got?
I'm taking St. Vincent again by 2 points.
I'm taking St. Vincent by a whole touchdown.
A whole touchdown?
Yeah.
6 points or 7?
7.
Okay.
Crystal City.
PAT.
Yeah, Crystal City lost to Grandview. Nobody loses to Grandview and wins another game.
Yeah, that
just doesn't happen.
I get it.
Also in Class 1, District 1, Chaffee's at Mark Twain.
Mark Twain, state-ranked team. Chaffee, they are in the up and up. Scored 57 points, but they're not beating Mark Twain.
Mark Twain, they're undefeated, and Mark Twain also wrote Huckleberry Finn. So obviously they would beat Chaffee.
Mark Twain wrote Huckleberry Finn.
Just throwing it out there. Class 2, District 1.
Yes.
Charleston at Malden.
Yeah, Malden takes care of business. Charleston, unfortunately, I think goes winless again this year.
Maybe 21 in a row.
That's
tough.
It's tough.
Malden, scores many.
That's a tough draw for the first round of districts. I got Malden in that one, and I'm taking Portersville at home and Caruthersville at home as well.
Well, I'm going to take Portersville at home in a close one. I think it goes really, really close.
Also, Hayti. Oh, that's Scott City.
Caruthersville beats Kelly as bad as they want.
Yeah.
And I've got Hayti beating Scott City as bad as they want.
Yeah.
Class 3 District 1, we already talked about. We both have Park Hills Central. Fredericktown at Kennett.
Taking Kennett. Fredericktown only has 2 wins this year. Kennett, I don't know. They're a little different than last year. Last year they kind of had some momentum, beat St. Jen, and got to this championship game. I say they get this one, and we'll talk about next week.
I think Kennett. They beat Fredericktown to start the season. Yeah. They're going to end Freddie's season.
Yeah.
Class 4 District 1. We already talked about. We got the home teams: Farmington over Perryville, Sykeston over DeSoto, and Cape Central over North County. Yeah. And Class 5 District 1. We talked about Jackson Vianney, but we didn't talk about Oakville at Poplar Bluff.
Taking the Mules.
That's going to be a close game. I think that's going to be really close. Oakville's played a tough schedule. Poplar Bluff sneaks away with the win, but that's going to be close. Poplar Bluff's known for losing that first round of district, too.
They don't perform well in that postseason, do they? We got volleyball winners. First time in 25 years, New Madrid County Central wins a district volleyball championship.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to the Eagles. Porterville softball going to another state Final Four.
That's where you'll be. You're going to miss all these great football games.
All these blowouts. I'll miss them.
Yeah, you're crying. I see the tears. Well, we can talk about Portersville. Hopefully a state title for Portersville.
Yes.
And then we'll have some teams from volleyball going to the Final Four. So we'll maybe talk about that next week along with district semifinal football matchups.
Let's do it.
Next
It's time
week.
to wrap up some seasons, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Next week on The Last Word.